For today's lesson, our objectives are: first, determine the meaning of the unfamiliar expressions by noting context clues. Second, listen intensively to understand the text and to determine the author's purpose. Third, organize information using a graphic organizer. Before we proceed to our lesson, let's have first the unlocking of difficulties. Choose the meaning of the underlined expression. Number 1. All he had was common sense. A. Meaning or significance of a word. B. Ability to see, hear, taste, smell, and feel. C. Ability to use the mind in making a wise decision. So the correct answer is letter C. Common sense means the ability to use the mind in making a wise decision. Let's go to number 2. Which word or phrase best fits the meaning of scholarship? A. Knowledge cultivated in school. B. Free college education. Or C. Received money for school. The correct answer is A. Knowledge cultivated in school. Number 3. Their eyes had closed with weariness. A. Happiness. B. Eagerness. C. Tiredness. The correct answer is C. Tiredness. Let's go now to number 4. He was humble and silent before such tremendous learning. A. Proud. B. Assuming. C. Modest. The correct answer is C. Modest. Let's go now to number 5. The hero came home and celebrated his triumph. A. Victory. B. Happiness. Or C. Work. The correct answer is victory. For today's lesson, you are going to listen to the story entitled The Four Brahmins, or also known as The Scholars and the Lion. Let's go now to the author's background. The Panchatantra is an ancient Indian collection of interrelated animal fables in Sanskrit verse and prose, arranged within a frame story. The fables are likely much older, having been passed down generations orally. The surviving work is dated to roughly 200 before Christ era, based on older oral tradition. The text author is unknown, but has been attributed to Vishnu Sharma in some recensions or revised texts and Vasubhaga in others, both of which may be pen names. It is classical literature in a Hindu text and based on older oral traditions with animal fables that are as old as we are able to imagine. It is certainly the most frequently translated literary product of India, and these stories are among the most widely known in the world. It goes by many names in many cultures. There is a version of Panchatantra in nearly every major language of India, and in addition, there are 200 versions of the text in more than 50 languages around the world. The Four Brahmins, or The Scholars and the Lion, was written about 18 centuries ago. The Panchatantra is an ancient Indian treasure house of fables, all carrying messages we can learn from. These stories are interesting to read. The stories also carry morals and sharp insights that would prove very useful to anyone reading or listening. The Four Brahmins, or The Story of the Scholars and the Lion, is a Panchatantra story which shows how mere knowledge without worldly wisdom is not only insufficient but downright dangerous. Let's listen now to the story of the Four Brahmins, or The Scholars and the Lion. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived four friends: Ram, Sham, Raju, and Gopu. Ram, Sham, and Raju were quite learned. They had studied for many years, first with the village teachers and then in an academy in the nearby town. They were filled with a whole lot of information and knowledge. They had read the ancient scriptures and the modern sciences, the old poets and the new pundits, from astrology to zoology. They learned it all, and on the way, they picked up quite a few rare and strange sciences. So strange that there wasn't even a name for them. They were scholars and they were exceedingly proud of it. But Gopo was not thought to be a learned man. His academic education stopped with a modest village teacher. No academy for him. But his education was continuing every day. Life is his only teacher. He was rich in common sense. The four friends set off. They went a long way and visited many villages and towns. One day, they had to cross a forest to reach the next town. As they were walking past, they saw a pile of bones on the ground. As the friends looked on it, they started wondering who or what it could have been. They remembered some of the strange knowledge they had picked up. Ram could take up a pile of bones and turn it into a complete skeleton. Raju had learned how to actually breathe life into such a figure and make it come alive. The three scholars but Gopu cautioned them. Better not try it, he said. We know not what it may turn to be. What if it is some dangerous creature that attacks us? But the three scholars did not welcome this advice. We are the scholars, they exclaimed. What do you know? You must be jealous of us and our skills. In spite of his best attempts, Gopu was unable to convince them to avoid what he felt was a foolish exercise. I want no part of this, cried Gopu, and climbed up to the top of a tree. Ram set to work and the pile of bones soon turned into a skeleton. At once, Gopu could see that it looked very much like the skeleton of a lion. He warned his friends again from the top of the tree. This seems to be a lion skeleton. Please stop this foolish exercise. But they heeded. Then it was Sham's turn, and soon a realistic-looking lion appeared. It is really a lion, cried Gopu. But the foolish scholars merely admired their handiwork and did not heed his pleas. Finally, Raju did his bit and breathed life into the lion. With a loud roar, the lion came to life and promptly pounced on and killed the three scholars. Poor Gopu watched all from the top of the tree, but there was nothing he could do. After a while, as the lion went away, he came down. With a heavy heart, he went back to his home village and informed the villagers of the incident. My friends were so learned. They acquired so much knowledge but no practical wisdom, he cried. What do you think is the moral of the story entitled The Four Brahmins or The Scholar and the Lion? The moral of the story is that anybody can learn and become smart, but this alone will not take you anywhere. You have to learn how to use it wisely. Not everything that we have learned in school can be applied literally. We also have to think of our every action in everything we do, because in every action that we do, there are consequences. Since we are done with the story, I want you to answer the following questions. First, what was the plan of the scholars? Second, Why did one of the scholars refuse to take along the unlearned friend? Third, what did they find in the forest? Fourth, how did they test the value of their learning? Fifth, describe the part done by the scholars. Sixth, why did Gupo try to stop their plan? Was he right in doing so? Explain your answer. 7. What is the value of common sense? And 8. What is the theme of the story? After answering the questions on the previous slides, you have to accomplish the graphic organizer. Complete the graphic organizer on the next slide based on the story The Four Brahmins. Write the title of the story, the author, and the author's purpose. Complete it based on the story The Four Brahmins. Here is the graphic organizer. You have to say the facts that you knew before you read the story, the questions that you have, the facts that you learned based on the story, and what you want to share to your classmates or friends or even to your family. And last one, do not forget the theme of the story. Thank you for listening.